Oh, yeah, that's headed down the hill at... Oh, it's a 701.
701.
Wait, is that the 701 or the
Yep.
605?
No, that's a 701. Black trim. Tell me they've run that car out of fuel.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like.
Oh, yep. You see it weaving back and forth.
And that's the worst part. That they're not going to make it up the hill. That's. Oh.
They're getting little surges out of the car, but that car is going to park itself at the apex of turn 5.
You just saw it judder.
Yeah, that car is
And
out
rolling.
of fuel. Well, we were going to have a very interesting end of the race.
No, it's frustrating mostly because it's a self-inflicted error.
Yeah.
Right. There's. I mean, I guess they're going for the hour-and-a-half mark, but that's all been undone. They'll be 3 laps down by the time that this is resolved.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is costing them whatever advantage they were going to have. Right?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, too. I mean, they might get saved by a full course yellow just by dint of where they've parked. Or have come to rest, really. It's not like they chose this exact spot. But it's a nasty old spot to be stuck.
Yeah, again, you will have the visibility here because you're towards the top of
Yeah, if you come through here unsighted behind a string of cars, though, you're in trouble. There is the double yellow. I wonder, so we don't know here exactly what the root cause is, right? If they got math wrong, yeah, fully self-inflicted, no excuse. Should have pitted a lap early.
I wonder if they missed a call, to be perfect.
Well, right, radio issues would be the next question, right? Have they been trying to call that car in and driver's not hearing it, or something to that effect?
Yeah, the result of it at the moment is that the 99T has taken the lead in GP1, and let's see. This is going to be kind of interesting. I kind of expect everyone in GP1 to take advantage of this and come in for their second pit stop.
Yeah, I think it benefits Birmingham Road and Race, right?
I think that's right. I don't have a gap to the lead for them. They are less than 2 laps back at this point. So if they are just on the cusp of being 2 laps down, it's huge for them. I haven't been able to spot them on track relative to the 99. There's the 44, obviously. Frankly, it'll help the 44 with the time loss that they had. Temporarily stopped on track coming into 7.
Sarah Lee too asked in the YouTube chat if this car can make it back to the pits. We never really addressed that in WRL. You just kind of take it for granted that everything is fair game. You get recovered in the paddock, fix your car, and you're good. But it is a departure from some international motorsports, particularly Le Mans, where if you're stranded, you're done. Not the case here, right? That car will be recovered to the pit lane or the paddock. They can throw some fuel in it, and that car will be good to go through to the end. Well, if they keep it running, there's no penalty or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, other than the obvious. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously you've seen this shot. The recovery vehicles coming up to the 701. I don't know. I'm curious to know whether or not they pull them through the shortcut, because that will probably save them a lap if they do that. There's a part of me that wonders actually if they let it coast down the hill just a bit in the hopes that they can get pulled around to the right instead of to the left.
I would not want to be anywhere near the racing line at that part of the racetrack.
No. Let's see. Where are our leaders here?
They are under the control of the safety car now, turn 12.
There's the 99. And where's the 98? Is that them here?
Yes. They've not hit it.
Not hit it. 605.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to pit, you do it now that the field is under control and you're not going to lose. Well, you would think you'd lose the lap anyway.
save, you know, in terms of immediate terms, it's not going to save you a pit stop, but it gives you flexibility in case another yellow comes out later. You know, maybe that then saves you a pit stop for the track position.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that if you were going to try and do this on, or if you were committed to doing this on 6 stops, basically running 77 minutes to a tank, if you were falling short of that number, you were going to need a splash somewhere, or a partial stint.
Yeah, that's true.
And I feel like this would be the opportunity to do that. It's about, I mean, since PC Racing pitted on lap 41, 42, we're at 54 now, so 12 laps.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a quarter tank, right?
They're rapidly losing the opportunity to make that stop. I believe that the 701's been cleared away. I'm not sure where they are on the track. They're still going around 7.
I will say this: if you're in the 98 camp, I think a pit stop would probably have been a better move. However, that is the quickest car in the field. It certainly was our pole sitter, you know, this morning, quickest in qualifying yesterday, and holds our fastest lap of the race thus far. If you think you're the quickest car in the field, you could probably get this lap back on track. A good half a stint to running at full speed, and I think that'll be the play here.
Interestingly,
and then just hope that the cautions fall in your favor in the next hour and a half or so.
Yeah, interestingly, a huge chunk of the GP3 field has come into pit. Interesting to me that we haven't really seen that from the GP1 field, but have shorter stints. At pace, yeah, lights are off on the Pajero, the Pacero.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait for GP3 to shake out. Some of those cars are just making their first stop now.
Yes, they were due.
I think that'll put 3 fast guys and Denny into the race lead at number 86. The crossover pulls into the pit lane, and the green flag waves with the 99T from Team GTR leading the field back to racing action. The orange Mustang there from MMR gets past the number 511.
That 44, by the way, that's gap 2 in GT1. So even though there's about, what looks like 8 cars separating the 99 and the 44, those are all cars that are either a lap down or in other spots.
He's going to get passed by Birmingham Road Racer around the outside of turns 3 and 4. And not for position, but it does help the 98's case, trying to get past these next 5 cars or so that he can bridge the gap up to the overall race leader. Wide for the number 511 out over the exit curve at turn number 5. Number 25 definitely down on power.
Making up for it in sound, though.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. Even if you're a little slow and straight line, as long as you sound good doing it.
Stevie.
Now the 44's gotten back past, and now they're side by side again. The Birmingham Road Race and the BC Racing cars.
On the back brake.
Interesting. I wonder how that got done. I wonder if the 98 got bumped there at the bottom of turn 5, and it allowed the 44 to sneak on through. The 98 just draws way down the long back straightaway.
And the 99 squad loves to see this because this is giving them a lot of opportunity to make up ground on the 44. Because we know that 99 probably doesn't have the pace of the 44. So any opportunity they get to make up track position will be helpful.
Yeah, it makes good use of that clear. Puts in a 138 lap from a restart lap. Be a bit quicker than that, corrected for full race pace. That 511, by the way, is in this on position. That car was being passed by Moorhead and a couple of other cars, but that car does still sit 4th overall on the lead lap. So don't discount that black and red BMW.
I don't remember if we've talked about it. I assume the number plate, but it's probably an old choice car.
It is, yeah.
Okay. 25 is slow again coming out of turn 5. So yeah, that car is definitely still ailing. So part of the reason it's falling down the order is because it's not quite at full song. Yeah, it doesn't sound healthy.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a handle on what's happened in GP3. Oh, is that just... No, it's still going. The audio. Yeah. Probably 86 came out of that caution so well. We know they didn't have to pit. They didn't pit earlier, so they just found a really fortunate break in terms of where the pace car caught.
I don't think so. I think they were just one of the only cars to pit under green.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, is how... because they've got nearly a full lap now with the 85. My confusion.
No, they were 50 seconds quicker at the pit lane than the 85 was. Oh, the 85 had an issue, remember? It was a long in lap followed by a long pit stop lap.
Yeah, remember the 85 did kind of buckle as it was coming out of turn 10.
Yeah. And it was 75 with the paddock speed, I think.
Yes. Yes. That was the car that needed to be pulled in off the back straight.
Right, yeah.
Okay. I'll take that.
If anything, I think Three Fast Guys and Denny has actually lost a little bit of time. But under the safety car.
Well, that would make sense to me, which is why I was kind of confused as to how they came out on top. I guess, yeah.
Round 3, I think the round 3 car was in the class lead. They pitted under yellow, so they've yet to fit in. But overall, Three Fast Guys and Denny has come out of this whole pit stop and caution rotation better than anybody else in GP3 has, largely just owing to having a quicker pit stop. Eyes on the map for second in GP1. Moorhead Speedworks has caught the number 44 from PC Racing. That's the black and red and yellow BMW and headed down the hill at turn 12, and the white, blue, and black BMW that sits just up ahead of it. Headed down into turn number 1. Following the F1 just under a second.
Got a minute 47 gap between the 99 and the 98, with them just over a lap behind. So that, I think they've benefited in a big way, because at one point they were 2 laps behind the lead. It's obviously helped with 47 in their issues. But I think they've effectively made up a lap off their slow pit stop. Remind it is a spectator event. If you can brave the heat, and if you're local to the area and you're watching on YouTube, it is a spectator event. I believe tickets are gate only. The more informed me can tell you what the face value is. But if you want to sit around and
it's $25 for a weekend, $15 for a day.
Okay. And there's still 7 hours left in this one too. So if you want the weekend ticket, it's still
good buy.
Taking.
Yeah. Featuring live PA announcers, by the way.
Yeah. Wonder who those scrubs are.
Crazy. Thanks for all the fine comments on YouTube.
Mine back in the pits. That is odd. That's not where this is.
Yeah. Round 3 having a rough couple of minutes here.
191 has gotten around the 63 for Kingpin. Is that legitimate? Or, no, they don't owe us a stop. 191 now, tailing our overall leader. 44, or sorry, not our overall leader, our one-time overall leader, now sitting P2. And that car making advantage of the full width of the track. And that's up. No notes in the race control log since we went back to green. Which A handful of pit infractions on our first round of stops, but the only lap penalty being given out to that would be 5 car for speeding in havoc, which is a straightaway lap penalty rather than a warning followed by a lap penalty. Warnings given to the 880 for Apex 2R, 85 for AOA, which is important for later on in the race. That car running what will be P2 in GP3 means that they are done with what I refer to as their joker. Basically, you get one slip up on your pit stops, and then the next one is an automatic lap penalty.
701 is back on track, by the way. Just saw it come through the turn one again.
How much time have they lost?
6 laps.
6.
Yeah, 13-minute in lap.
That is fully out of contention, obviously. But they will be on a recovery drive trying to pull back spot by spot. Maybe the next one up the order will be the 64 Open Quality Racing, and then 2 laps ahead of them will be the 9.6 with Juan Burns, basically turned into a race of attrition to them. After what, frankly, should have been fighting for the victory.
Yeah, let's stay on board here, Zach, if we can. This is on board the 191 from Overnight Motorsports, following the Moorhead Speedworks BMW. Up ahead of that is PC Racing. These are cars in the same class, but the battle that we're seeing, the sort of the bird's eye view from, is the battle for second on track.
Yes, tailing the battle for second.
Yeah. PC Racing car was passed by this number 191 in a straight line last lap. And then the 44 went back over on the brakes down at turn number 10. Oh, locks up there on the way into 10. A little bit wide, didn't cost them too much time.
I'm still showing the 605 as being in the pits. I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, that was almost certainly a problem that they were in too early.
I don't see them on our pit lane. Maybe I didn't take that back. There is a car down line. I do wonder if the 605 is going behind the wall.
They have this 63 Kingpin on the pit road.
See that? Yeah.
Tell you what, this Moorhead car has got a little extra pace over the 44 at the moment. The 44 isn't slow, it's just a foot or two off an apex here, a little lock up there, and it's all adding up over the course of a lap to be worth a car length or two. How slow RRT number 721? That was your class leader in GP2, that's no longer the case.
Yeah, they were earlier, but I don't know if they had a really slow pit stop.
No, I
they
think
had
it's
been
just
relegated to third.
Yeah, cumulative time loss after the driver change. Lap times that were 39s have kind of gone out into the 44s, 46s, 47s. Either that or they've been nursing an issue. Either are possible, but that car is not well. This will be the silver, black, and red BMW as we get a pass for second. Moorhead through on the brakes at turn 10. Does the crossover. Side by side under the Fox Factory Bridge at 11, and we'll pick him up down the hill. 44's got the line up the inside at turn number 12. Moorhead's got to breathe out of the throttle, and they'll go single file under start finish.
147 will have a slightly better run into turn 1 there, but not. I don't think it'll be enough to actually get any kind of overlap here. No, not even by a little bit. Car around.
They expect the 191. It is the 191. Gets into the gravel short of the tire barrier, but that car is going to be beached.
That was early on in the corner. That was like that got a load of rear brake and nothing else, locked him up immediately and came around.
And the other thing it's easy to do there is to clip the grass on the way in by the support pit exit. If you just try and open that corner up too much, which is very tempting, occasionally you can drop a wheel there and it'll snap the car right around. Very lucky not to make it all the way to the wall there. You hear the car running, but
that will obviously need to be extricated from the gravel trap.
yeah, at one of the fastest corners on the circuit here, we get a replay. That car's really not anywhere near the grass, is he?
Well, that doesn't mean that that's not what put him there. Full course yellow.
Full course yellow, thank you.
Yeah, let's I'll try to hunt down the onboard for that, but that obviously straight away, and that car was sitting P7. Basically anybody still running at this point. No, not quite. All but one car still running to pick up points in GP1, as long as they stay classified. Flatbed already deployed. It'll be the third time that we've, no, now probably fifth time, a couple hot pulls in there, time that we've seen this tandem come back out. That is, we're going to need your longest tow rope for this one, I'm afraid. It's deep in there. You want to put the truck in there also.
Just caught a replay for that 191 on their YouTube feed, and it looks like they just maybe kept a little bit too much brake in as they started to arc into the corner, and like you said, maybe a little bit too much rear brake dialed in there as well, and it just set the car around before they ever really got anywhere near an apex.
Yeah, that is felt analogous to a MotoGP crash where you grab the front brake, that locks up, and then very early on in the corner. In this case, obviously the car's gone around backwards. That's a rear brake walk. And as you say, they haven't hit the grass. That is straight around all of their own doing. The car will have pitched forward a little bit under brake, and you dip the nose there to get the car turned in for one. If you do that just a bit, keep the brakes on a little bit too long, and the car will run a little bit of risk of going around on them, and then you end up playing in the kid's limit.
Yep, the full cavalry down at turn 2 with the waving yellows and 27, 8 by 10. Gentlemen, I am going to take my leave from you under this full course caution.
That's pretty rude.
Yeah, I did it last time around there as well, although I had other racing commitments. Thanks for being with us, everybody from trackside. Thanks for being a part of the World Racing League powered by Haggerty here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. I am going to leave you in the capable hands of Joseph Woodrock, JT Tammy, and Ryan West when he gets back from resetting the camera. Enjoy the remainder of your 7 hours, and yeah, looking forward to seeing how this one pans out. It's been a really solid start to the day.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been a lot of intrigue. It really is one of those races where nothing quite. The 44 is in now, as is the 98. The thing that'll be interesting, actually, about the 44 and 98 pitting, as we cut to the 191 being pulled out of the grapple trap. The thing that'll be interesting about the 98 having pitted now, and in particular the 99 having not pitted, nor have the 147, nor the 511T, that old choice car being run by Bruce Innovations, is that puts them at a little bit of a stagger. The 99 last pitted 25 laps ago, so they're actually more than halfway through their fuel run. This 191 will probably, as we unhook them from the tow hook, they're gonna drag an awful lot of debris out onto the racing surface, I'm afraid. But with those two cars having pitted, they're gonna be on a pretty big stagger in terms of pit strategy, which opens things up a bit if we get another full course yellow, or really at the wrong time for our leaders. 99, 147, 511 have to pit under green flag conditions. 44 and 98 don't. Alternatively, if the 44 and 98 can get packed up, while the 99 and 147 and 511T choose to pit now. Smart move by the 191 too. You see them actually weaving back and forth a little bit to try to get some of that gravel cleared out before they get back on the track. You can hear it still coming out of the car. So it's going to be pretty dicey coming into turn 1 here. I wonder if we're going to actually have to sweep turn 1. You can hear the gravel coming out of the car. So if this does end up being a longer yellow, and the 44 and 98 are able to pack back up before the top 3 cars, it's only getting worse. Everyone's still going to run over this. We're not going to have time to get a sweeper out before the rest of the field comes through. But if those 2 cars that just came in hit before lights have got to be on, and they are, before these top 3 pit, then they'll actually come back around. The 44 would take the lead. The 98 would get their lap back, depending on whether or not they've beaten the 44 out.
Yeah, I think it was a good call for the Birmingham Road race car to pit this time by, especially since the 99, the 147, and the 511 were staying out.
Yes, I think that's 880, 147. Might be a W, who I can't identify. PC Racing is in. No, I'm sorry, that hasn't been updated. PC Racing came in last lap.
Just gave them across timing again.
Yes, 147 is in, as we saw. 511, who I had missed, is also in. I'm really curious to see how the 44 and 98 cycled out here in terms of track position. I haven't seen them come back through yet, I don't think.
So I'm assuming the 511 is the car we saw trailing Moorhead into pit lane there. I'm not sure the colors on the 511, but I could have sworn it was white or silver.
You may be right. I understood that it was red and black, but no, I would buy that because those are the 2 cars that are in the pits. Yeah, actually it has to be. Yeah, so that white car has got to be the 511.
Yeah, the red and black E46 should be flying for motorsports.
Yeah, I'll take that. 98 has come back through. 44 has not. Either that or they've come back in again. But I don't have them as no longer being on their outlap. 99 obviously heads the field here. Just scanning through the list, there's the 44, so we know that they're back out on track. There's the 147, or sorry, the 98, there they go, and the 147 right behind them. So
this is the next one should be the extras car.
So if we don't go full course, or sorry, if we don't go back to green flag racing this time around, you have to assume the 99's going to come in. They're not going to give you full advantage of a yellow flag. This, the pace car here looks like we're getting a green soon.
Yeah, it looks like the lights are out.
Yeah, they are. So 99 is going to lead us back to green flag running off of our third pit stop, or third full course yellow of the day, rather. Back to full control, and the green flag will be out. There you see the flag stand. 147 obviously has pitted, so we'll have to finish. You can hear actually some of the gravel being kicked up. It'll be a hairy motor first time through. That they've had an incredibly long pit stop, so we weren't actually wrong about having seen them in the pit lane for longer than we expected. It was a 6-minute lap down on top speed coming out of 7. But not unreasonable to, we might have seen a really slow pit stop from the 44. Remember we had those odd electrical looking issues out of that car when it came to a stop, so maybe they took a little bit of extra time to try to diagnose that. Maybe they were seeing more symptoms of that they needed to work out. You see the car coming through final corner here, so we know that it's running, we know that it's basically up to speed, but they've lost a full lap, basically, during that yellow flag period. If they did have some kind of issue they were trying to sort out, fortunate for them that they were able to diagnose it or at least work on it under that full first blowout. That much time lost would cost them probably 4 laps under green flag conditions across into the third hour of racing. In that 44, we know it's the fastest car on track in that class, but they've got some ground to make up. Green Fast guys in Denny, by the way, has made out like bandits on another full course yellow. They've got nearly a full lap lead over the 85 for AOA Racing. And the 55, that team car, the 85, sitting totally, I've got them 10 seconds behind the team car, the number 85.
Yeah, so that's still relatively close after 2 hours of QT3 for those 2 cars.
Yeah, obviously the couple of full course yellows that we've had will help that a bit. We sometimes worry about being a little bit of an undersea track class, just being a general production only range with a slow, I think that's a slow Boxster. That was actually one of the cars we saw around. That's kind of an issue. That's just too slow. Kind of slow. Zach, our producer, thinks he was trying to pit, and I don't think that's a bad assumption, because what I thought was the front of the engines had to have been higher. That part does not look like that healthy, and what I wonder now is that maybe it was a driver error in there, but it's actually maybe had some sort of failure in the suspension out of the rear, because you can see that car wobbling around. Being pulled out of the gravel trap, that most likely would have been the reason that car ended up in the gravel trap in the first place.
Looked okay coming through the S there, so it's not sure what it is at this point. It does move quite a bit on braking though.
It's incredibly unstable. We've got the Kingpin car in front of us.
Which one is the big one? I think the Kingpin is the one that does, so yes.
Okay. Yeah, that car a little bit slow through 6 and 7 as well. So, and we know that car's falling down the order quite a bit, so they may be nursing some mechanical issues also.
I believe if it's the one with the big wing, I know that team has some of the different drivers this weekend available, including Lonestar over those M3s as well.
I've heard that name before.
Yeah, so he is happy to be here doing that kind of stuff. 1 second here.
191. It has also to the right and does pit-ish. Yes.
I almost wonder if that car is so unstable that they tried to pull it into the pits and actually couldn't make the turn quickly enough and had to bail out. Which I think this was partially the reason that Zach got as that car crashed with the hill. But, ooh, he hit camera. I'm not totally sure, but it didn't look like it was but that's where they stay. So, looking to see that car come back out. It was leaving its cut quite a while. That really had some mechanical issues. The problem was that 109 was overtaken by the AOA Racing. 160 into the lane for Jorge. That is the P4 and currently last running car in GP2. They had a minute and a half gap up to the 321 for Lonestar Rallycross. And I think that's where we put that. So if that is that car, then they've got a potential problem as well that they're looking at.
Or is it possibly a drive time thing? You know, 2 hours for the first driver's car, maybe it's time to put it in the second.
Yeah, it could be. We'll look to see if that ends up being a normal-ish time stop. Be a pretty good indication of that. Possibly, you know, that could have a tire going down. I feel like a tire's going down. We know that there was quite a bit of gravel down in turn 1. These are basically road legal tires, so it shouldn't be that sensitive to gravel left out on the track. Not exactly racing slicks. But they won't bulletproof by any means.
Joseph, check this one.
The 880 gotten a little bit crossed up coming out of 10B. Looking at a 4-second gap between the 511T, an old choice car, and the 147 from Jorge. Neither one of those cars doing the sort of pace that they were running earlier. Not sure if that's because they're caught up in traffic. You can see the 511T certainly is right now, right behind the 701. But the number 99 taking advantage of the clear track and continuing to put a gap on the 2 cars behind it now, nearly 26 seconds ahead of that field.
I did see the Palomar 14 being driven about at one point. Has that made its entry to the track yet?
It has not. At least it hasn't done a time lap. The 15, however, is having an excellent race so far. Currently, fourth overall.
Into the Georgia Clay, left-hand side, turn 7. 644 for open throttle. That open throttle Miata continuing to turn laps, but also continuing to nurse mechanical issues. Valve lap? No, that's definitely not scheduled to stop that. 160 still behind the wall, so I think that's a proper issue that that car is running to. It always scares me when Moorhead brings 2 cars to a race and one of them falls away. That tends to mean that one of them is about to have all of their attention divided.
I'm not sure how separated the team is for running both entries. It might be completely different. They're just working on that one separately, or they might be working together to operate, you know, these 2 cars that are separate classes. Not sure.
Yes. So number 98 continuing to work their way back up the order in the overall. So that car is sitting P7 in the overall, P6 in GP1. Really, I mean, the two cars that are probably the paciest in the field are the two cars that are really out of position here, which could set us up for a very interesting finish. That 44 and the 98. We were worried that the 44 might fall away entirely. But it seems to have just been a minor glitch for that car, and they've been strong since. View your commentator's curse references now. But only 10 seconds separate by most of the things. Helps a little bit by yellow flags and they're going to be 44. Behind them, 25. Then there's some issues. Framing stuff. Still, that's not all that helps. Yeah, and then there was a huge hiccup coming out of 5 just to prove that point. But managing to accelerate, it almost makes me wonder if they've got some sort of transmission issue going on. They're maybe having trouble finding a gear. And that, when you're working on finding a gear, it makes it a little harder to find an A things too.
Yes, it does.
Us at the moment with 3 cars in GP2. The rule in terms of scoring points is that you've got to run 50% of the laps that your class winner does. Obviously, falling away 2 hours of change into the race is really difficult to do, so you basically just hope that you're not stranded for 5 hours. You're in with the shot of scoring good championship points. Everyone in GP3 is still circulating, which is a great record to have. We know the 64s got issues, but they're continuing to push that car along. 65 also still circulating, which means they're well inside. Well, that car pulled back on left and over here. Seem to have sorted it. Fingers crossed. But obviously lost a lot of time. Better part of half an hour sorting that car out. GP3 between 3rd and 4th, holding pretty steady in the 2-second region. That 109 car for Roberts overhauled the 55 5-10 minutes ago, but haven't really been able to pull much of a gap. It's last time by 2.8 seconds. Harrison doing well at the head of GP2 with a 24-second gap overnight. GP3 though, that gap is actually long. It's still a huge gap, owed in part to how the yellow flag is pulling. You go 3 wide down the back straightaway. That's 3 different classes all chopping and changing.
Yeah, this is that battle for third in GP3 here with that red car being the 109 Roberts Motorsports and tailing here the yellow X5 from AOA.
Yeah, let's track this for a little bit while things have kind of settled down out of the yellow flag. The car that's just gone through at the head of this pack will be your race leader and leader in GP1, the GTR 99, having just finished there. I believe that'll be 75th. Car that's gone ahead of that. One of the overthrow cars, it'll either be the 64 or the overthrow 63 decide that's a lower end car, we can make it the 64. They are running. Is that right? They're running 4 laps behind their nearest competition for 9:46. So the tail end of GP1 is starting out quite a bit all of a sudden. We're starting to see those cars being pushed to the barrel. And the GP1 side of me is very interesting for that reason. We tend to focus when it is the full fat 4 or 5 class field. We tend to focus on GTO because there are just so many cars. But GP1 can be a really interesting class because there's a level of attrition that is sort of still that class we learned. You get that a bit in GTO, but as those cars are a bit more professionally built, quite as much. GP1, you do still have the situation of cars that are not exactly professionally prepped, well prepped, but not engineered to the level of, say, a GR Supra.
Or GT4, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd point out the 64 open throttle there. That is the car we had that stop at top of turn 3.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That did slowly rejoin.
Yeah, and I don't know that we ever saw, no, we haven't yet, seen the 26 for Edge Auto's merchant turn. That car we saw straight off at the top of the hill here. And come to a rest up against the concrete area. The car still behind the wall. No update as far as I'm aware of what's happened to that car. Hopefully we see them out at least to the start of the at some point today. But I do want to make sure that we keep our eyes on that GP3 lead battle, because even though it is separated by a full minute and a half, that is continuing to fall. That 86 is not running the same sort of lap times that the 85 is doing. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. We're talking about a pace advantage of, depending on the lap, that race can get a little interesting depending on how traffic falls. Especially because we know that 86 is a little less likely to run long on a fuel run than the 85 for AOA is. So that can tighten up for a few different reasons later on in this race. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, with the 86, you also have to remember who's in the car at the time. Is it one of the 3 fast guys, or is it Denny Strip?
The thing is, right, the thing that's irritating is that, Greg mentioned earlier, we've seen Denny racing elsewhere. He's not that slow. So it really is, it's 3 fast guys and 1 slightly less fast guy. Or either that or it's a complete block, and it's just Denny and 3 not very fast guys. So
he was quick enough to race it in the Nürburgring.
Have they, or are they trying to?
So Denny was there this past summer, running in, I believe, in the F2.
You don't get a ton of coverage for the other cars, unless it's the Opel Manta or a Dacia that's been caved in by an
Yeah, so if I recall correctly, it wasn't the 24 he was running at.
Okay, just one of the NL last race.
Yeah.
it almost seems like it might be a fuel starvation issue because it seems to happen an awful lot when you gotta turn 5. I'm not sure where their pickup is, but it's they're losing speed now over the crest of the hill, which is not what you expect to lose speed. It's holding at 80 miles an hour. You see the speed estimates coming off of GPS readings rather than data coming off of the car itself. But you saw that that car is holding basically at 80 miles an hour. Again, maybe just struggling to find that next gear.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just lifted to let the traffic by.
Maybe, it wouldn't be a terrible idea. They're not exactly racing traffic, so it's not a terrible idea. It's tough with this car because it does sound, it sounds so raw basically that you can't really tell when it's having an issue and when it's just running rich basically. 65 for the throttle. The car running. That car's not well.
Yeah, it seems to be struggling in the corners with rotation, especially getting back to the throttle on the exit. This is puzzling.
I could go either direction. I still think it could be starvation. I still think it could be them trying to find a gear and not being able to. Either one of those would be a good reason to basically hold the same speed.
Paradox is 7 normally. And then...
No, that's a transmission issue for it.
Yeah.
You hear it shift up and then immediately lose power. I mean, immediately lose revs, actually. Well, it's losing revs because it's shifting gear, and then it just cannot accelerate through that gear. Fine. Now, I wonder if they're missing it. I wonder if he's having to skip.
Yeah, like if... I don't know. Third gear, they don't have any. It looks like the car's going to go ahead and come down to pit lane.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. That you can tell from the body language of the driver how frustrating this is. I don't know if that is Michael Moore behind the wheel at the moment, but that car is really in rough shape. They're gonna try to take a look at it over the wall here rather than taking it behind. I'm not sure they'll be able to do much here. How's that going to shake out? So that car was already the last running car. Alright, I thought they were green and yellow or something, so I'm pretty sure I don't think that's what we did. We do have a note of contact under investigation between the 85 and the 65. The 85 would be your second place car in GP3. 65 would be the ninth and last running car in that same class. But that'll be a car that we know has had mechanical issues, and that is contact under investigation, with the note being nose to tail contact. So I wonder if the 65 had a recurrence of some mechanical issue.
So I had seen that out of my eye. Basically what happened is they were coming out of 10B, and it looked like one of the cars was positioned. Driver's left, there was still room on the left, and the car behind had a better run. It was kind of looking to pass on the outside for some reason. And it was very close. I'm not sure if it was contact or not, but I was worried that the car attempting to pass was going to fill off on driver's left, going into 11 as they press the bridge. But showing the turn 12 camera shows that they did not go off track. They tucked back behind. possible contact, that could be a separate issue.
63 being noted as slow. That'll be Kingpin. There they go through turn 5. They're being noted, or were being noted at the start and finish, as appearing to have a flat tire. So they're going to have to carry that all the way around the track. They're doing a pretty good job of doing that by looks of things. Probably not as at risk of delamination as you would with a racing slick. But still not something that you want to be completely thrashing. You see them coming through shot now, coming around turn 7. The car has had pace. It's been hit by seemingly issue after issue. That will probably take them back behind the 701, you'd think.
Well, that was the 64 passing them right there for position. Actually.
And another 10 seconds behind them should be the 701, so that they should lose both of those. They will still, because we've had so many mechanicals in GP1, they will still be in point scoring position. Grabbing 10 feet. And we'll expect to see them right. So as the Roberts 109 blocks up the brakes of the 10A.
And GTR's been on the lane.
That 109's got issues, actually. You see them being rounded up by the flying bird car. That doesn't quite seem like the right pace differential. Maybe it's fine. It looked slower than usual coming out of 10B and rounding at 11. Hey, JT, did you make a note about the 99 pitting just now?
Yes, I completed GP1 and overall.
Yeah, that'll temporarily at least elevate the 137 more ahead of 511T Bruce innovation, but put them up into E1 and 2 respectively. That victory lane car, which we've seen have so many issues, has come back out on track. They do that having lost, it looks like about an hour and a half, so great to see that car back out on track. They would be looking for really just putting laps at this point. If they do that, if they continue to do that and the 721 and 160 can't be repaired, then there may be a fourth place on all of them. So there's plenty of reason if you're able to get that car back on track, not just because you like the track time, but because there might be a result in it for you.
Also good to see running out on track right now, I caught coming across our finish line is the 14 of Palomar Racing has started the race. They've completed 4 laps now, so they are down by 79 laps.
What has happened is the 25, the stop driver's right. It looks like coming up the hill. We can't quite see it in our shots, but it looks like the 25 has come to a stop driver's right, rounding turn 2.
Yeah, we can see the waving green flag here at the top of the hill, which means the car stop is just before this marshal station.
Yes, and I'm not sure that the post in turn 1 is aware of it, because there's no yellow flag there. It's a little bit of a dicey situation. 3 clearly thinks it. That post 1 is seen it because they're waving green flag and viewpoint on it, so that point's on the R yet.
There goes the 14 Palomar.
Yeah, so I think there's a little bit of confusion here, because the 99 was being held up behind. I'm going to say that's the 64. Held up behind the 64, and maybe for different reasons, actually that car looks like it's off pace too. But back to the camera at the bottom of the hill at turn 1. But if we do that, I don't believe we'll see a yellow flag there standing or waving. But you see in the shot here that there's a waving green flag. Okay, now we've got a waving yellow at 1.
Yeah. So most likely that was an MR leaving pit lane after trying to figure out what their issue is and just coming to a halt there.
Yeah, I think that's right. So while so this, in a way, I suppose, is a good place to have a local yellow, in that you're not likely to see anybody trying to make a move after the apex of 1. The only thing that might be dicey is if somebody's trying to. I don't see a standing yellow. Maybe there is one now, a standing yellow at start to finish. No, there is not one yet. So basically the yellow flag zone starts at the apex of turn 1. So the only thing that might catch people out, as we've said, the flatbed, our terrific tandem of the flatbed and the blocker truck. White flag for the recovery vehicles. Drivers know that there's a slow car on the track ahead of them. Those two will go pick up the 25. The only sort of danger in terms of passing under yellow violations might be anybody coming through trying to set up a path before turn into to turn 1. Then you get 2 cars side by side, which you don't want entering a yellow flag zone. Warning to the 63 for Kingpin. They were trying to replace the flat tire in that car. 6 people over the wall. It's going to be their first warning. Remember, we still have the incident under investigation between the 85 and A wagon and 65 of the throttle. That would be a lap penalty to the 85.
That's a weird case. You could argue that the 65 was slow on exit, possibly unpredictable from the 85's point of view. So I have no idea how that's going to play out there.
Yes. Okay. So we are at the bottom of the hour, about 2.5 hours into this one. So let's set up what I think will be our second commercial break of the race, while we get the situation down at turn 2 sorted out. Another hot pull from the Road Atlantic crew, which is going to keep us clean and green for the moment, which we're very thankful for. I believe we've already got that car in town. So, shortcut down at turn 5, bring that car back into the paddock. Thankfully, keep the race at full speed. So we'll go to a commercial break here. We'll be back on the other side of about a 2-minute break. Thanks to our sponsors, and we'll see you on the other side of the paddock. 2 races, general production only. An experiment that we're trying here with the World Racing League. Here at Michelin Raceway in Atlanta, you'd never be able to guess from the advertising signage who sponsors this racetrack. This will be a 9-hour race. Tomorrow will be a 7-hour race, basically split into 2 parts. 1 or 2 hours to start, and then the remaining segment going after a scheduled red flag tomorrow. So it's very different dynamic to that race, and we will hopefully get some of the cars that we've lost today, get them back and running for tomorrow.
I hope so. Joseph, I figured I'd come hang out and do the thing.
Sure, why not? You know, the more the merrier. 65 has been pulled in for unsafe driving. That'll be a mandatory driver change. Unsure what has precipitated that change. With the 65 running last after their mechanical issues in GP3. The 85 I don't remember if I've said that yet. That is slightly ahead of schedule, but not so much so that I think we should be worried about it. But watch that space, because that is P2 and GP3. If they run into issues, that would elevate Roberts 109 up to P2, but they are inching toward being 2 laps down. Really strong run so far for the 3 fast guys. Denny, number 86 in GP3 at the moment. Escape road at turn 5. Waiting for identification on that. Is being noted by Rizpool 918, that car that we were missing for so long, for about an hour and a half earlier. Like they may have had another mechanical issue and have needed to cut back through to get off the course. Starting to put in some fast laps. They just won their fastest of the race by about half a second. Dipping into the 136 for the first time today, and that has drawn the gap down to the 147 to about 3.3 seconds. That is a fight for the race lead. These cars are due in about 13-14 laps, so roughly 2/3 of the way through their fuel runs. The 99, on the other hand, due in 34 laps, so quite a ways to go. We've got a little bit of a stagger among some of our runners in GP1, which will make the projections at the end of this race kind of interesting. In that I'm not totally sure who is going to be in a better position to make it to the end here. 85, having pulled into the pits, will relinquish second and third places to Roberts and their team car in the number 55. Looks like the open throttle 65 is coming to the pits, and that may be managed right. Yes, because that hasn't happened yet. I assume that there was a black flag out for that car. Unsure if that was the first time that had been communicated to that 65 car. But either way, they are in now. These 2 open throttle cars are actually kind of in a battle for position. 644, 6 on back, 657 on back. So even though they are putting up the rear in GP3, they are still fighting at least with each other. one of those. The 65 actually may be a championship contending car, or at least a championship running car. 644, I think this may be the first time we've seen that car in action this year. 44 has come through on the 15 because the 15 of Palomar Racing has pitted.
Well, Bruce Innovations goes faster by another 10th last lap. Across the line, shirt down off the fastest.
Yeah, and then that's drawn the gap down to 2.4 seconds on that last lap. So there's some legitimate pace in that old choice car. Who would have guessed?
1.7 now.
That's drawing down a bit. What is that? That's basically 7 tenths of a second every lap.
Well, this last lap, Moorhead has responded by having a very slightly quicker lap by, a handful of hundredths of a second.
Yes, that last lap we got through very slightly from 2.402 to 2.484, so about 800ths of a second between them. Advantage to the 147 from Moorhead. Not sure, I've got the list in front of me, so I suppose I could and should check. In the 147.
He is here. Okay. I've seen him here in a race suit. I don't know if he's in next.
Yeah, he was offering coaching yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, he is listed in the car, as is Harry Balon, Jerry Kaufman, and Cody Dickerson, as well as the team owner, Chad Thornton. So I mean, that is a pretty stout lineup. Certainly a seasoned lineup in that 147. So if it weren't for those mechanical issues, you'd expect that car to be really walking away with this one. But obviously they lost a full day of running yesterday.
Well, they've still got tomorrow, too. I mean, it's early in the day, I think, to start talking about tomorrow, but we do still have tomorrow.
Yeah, of course. I tend to think, as that gap now has gone underneath 2 seconds with the lead in GP1, I tend to think that they've actually done a little bit of work on that 147 during the pit stops. I felt that car had actually picked up a little bit of pace between the first and the second. I don't know how much they were able to do. There you see them coming through what is called turn 8, sweeping left-hander. That red, yellow, and black car in front of 147, the white BMW chasing it. It's the 511 Bruce Innovations. Gap at the line is 1.5 seconds.
As they come into turn 10 now. Up the hill to the bridge for 11.
I'm going to box back to the bridge.
And you can see the gap is roughly at a second. Slightly over.
65 row throttle in and out of the pit lane, slightly longer stop at 243. Drawing third. GP1 has also pitted. A little bit of a longer stop for them also. That is at a 341. So they will be trying to stay ahead of the 701 for round 3, who we noted earlier and actually brought out the full first yellow, I believe. Did they bring out the full first yellow? Yes, I believe they did. Running out of fuel on the run up to turn 5. I'm sure there's a little bit of a story behind that one, so we'll try to get more details on that. They ran out of fuel very early in the lap, so we kind of also suspect they may have missed the pit call, or delivered the pit call too late. But that gap now between the 746 and 701 under a minute by the looks of things. the head of GP1. We're on board now with the 147 from Moorhead, who leads the race in that class. Gap to the car behind them. So we're looking for a white BMW in that rear view mirror. You see the headlights as they go under the Fox Factory Bridge. Gap just under 2 seconds. Yeah, that's now cleared out. And we've got the, I think that's the 65 having rejoined the race behind them. Would have been the traffic if they would have done that. And I think the 605 as well. So those are both GP3 cars. They're not in a battle with each other. To oscillate a little bit between the 137 and the 511, that's now down to 1.6. We had been as low as 1.5 at one point. That is, by some margin, your closest battle on track. So we're going to continue to chase that, not just because of the battle, but because it's the most interesting thing that we've got happening flat out. There's Palomar and Flying Fur going past our position. Gap looks much more compressed now.
Oh yeah.
About a car length between them coming out of 10B, and they'll swing through the final corner. I wonder if the Moorhead car had a bad run coming out of turn 7, because that is well tightened up. It's got to be under second. No traffic getting in the way here. This will be a 1v1 fight for quite a while yet. We'll be looking for pit stops from the two of them in about 8 laps, so there's plenty of time for this to play out. Just about a second on the nose that last time by, which represents a compression of about, actually exactly 0.6 of a second. Next time we see them will be right here. I think it's actually, it might well be coming through turn 6 that 511 is finding so much speed. And it will not hurt them to be in the toe of the 147 all the way down this long back straightaway down into 10A. I'm not sure they're going to be able to do anything with it though. Need